Hey all! So have you ever struggled to stay on the beat when you're playing a longer fill? Perhaps 1 or 2 beats is okay, but once you get to a measure or maybe 2 measures, you just start to lose your sense of place, lose the sense of where you are in the beat. Well, today I'm going to show you 2 basic tricks that's going to help you not only be able to keep track of where you are in the beat, but hopefully help you be a little bit more creative in your fills as well. Okay, so let's get started. Our first approach is what I would call the location-based approach, which is to say, you know where you are in the fill based on which instrument you're playing on. For this example, we're going to start off just by playing straight 16th notes. So in total, there will be 16 16th notes for the whole fill, and we will play on a different instrument, a different drum per quarter note. So, for example, you might play the first 4 hits on your snare, and then the next 4 hits on tom 1, then 4 on tom 2, and 4 on tom 3. Let me demonstrate for you that real quick. Now, it's important to not approach this from the mindset of just mastering that one example I gave you. What you really want to do is work on improving your fill on this, on coming up with exhausting every single combination of fills that you can using that approach. So to aid in that, we're going to actually set up your kind of exercise as follows. First, you're going to play a very basic 1 measure beat. That's going to help set up the fill. And then of course you'll do the fill itself, the 1 measure fill. And you'll repeat this without stopping in between. So it'll be measure beat, measure fill, measure beat, measure fill. And like I said, you're going to go through this and exhaust every single combination you can think of. Let me show you just a real few quick examples on that. Now, as you saw at the end there, I was not just limiting myself to just the drums. I threw in the hi-hat, but you could throw in the ride or a splash or play on the rim of the toms. There's all sorts of different things that you could do. Okay, so the next approach that I want to go over is what I would call a phrasing approach. As you probably noticed that from that last example, things start to get a little bit boring, right? You're just constantly right? So the phrasing approach allows us to break up the pattern a little bit. So for example, maybe you're going to play always the first 3 16th notes, 1 E and, 2 E and, etc. So why is this helpful? Why is this important? Why does it help us stay on the beat better? Well, now instead of having to count how many 16th notes you're doing, you're just counting how many groups of phrasings you're doing. So in a 1 measure fill, even though you're playing upwards of 16 16th notes, you're only doing maybe 4 different phrases. 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and. So now you just have to count those phrases. Now, of course, playing this on just 1 drum would be pretty boring. So what we're going to do is kind of combine this with the previous approach that we had. Again, you're going to start off with your 1 measure drum beat to set things up, and then you're going to play your 1 measure fill and go back and forth. And every single pattern, every single phrase, each beat, you're going to play on a different drum. Once you get comfortable with that, try to move away from being locked into a single drum per phrase or per quarter note. Kind of move around, see where things go, really explore it. Remember, you're feeling your placement in the measure based on how many times you've played that phrase. Notice that on that last set there, I was actually leading the fill with my left hand. Sometimes something just as simple as that, as trying to lead with the opposite hand, will open up a whole new world of different combinations of fills that you could play. Once you're really solid on a single phrase, try exploring different phrases. Take just one additional phrase and really go to town on it. But let me just, to kind of kickstart things, let me show you 3 other phrases you might want to play with. You'll notice that on that last example, I actually repeated a 2-beat phrase instead of a 1-beat phrase. There's nothing saying that you have to play one little thing 4 times or even 2 longer things 2 times. You can do any sort of combination you want. So I hope you guys found that useful. I am putting out other drum-related content all the time. More lessons and recording tips and reviews on drum gear. So if you don't want to miss out, then don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, peace.